Good morning. Mr. Everidge coming here from headquarters with another math lesson. So a lot of you had asked me some comments on last week's work, including the LCM, which stands for least common multiple. So when we are faced with a fraction problem and we're trying to make the denominators equivalent or equal so that we can add or subtract those fractions, we need to find the least common multiple. So least meaning smallest, common means what do they share, and multiples, of course, are skip counting. So let's try one of our problems from last week, which was 4/5 plus 2/8. So I see that I'm adding these fractions and the denominators are not equal. So I'm going to have to multiply out both of these denominators. Now I know a lot of you, what you want to do is you want to say, well, 5 times 8 is 40, right? And sometimes that will work, right? Sometimes when we can just multiply this times this, and we would end up with, of course, a common denominator. Only sometimes, though, we'll end up with the least common denominator, or the least common multiple. So yes, you can say 5 times 8 is 40, and it might work out to be the least. Or it might just be a common multiple, in which case you're going to have to do some extra reducing at the end of the problem. So there's really no shortcut here, in the true sense of the word. So let's multiply out 5, and let's multiply out 8. So we start counting by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and we can start doing some 8s. 8, 16, so you see that I'm just skip counting. 24, 32, 40, so it looks like, yes, 40 is going to be our least common multiple. And here we go. So they do share that 40, so that is going to be our least common multiple in this case. But let me see if the next problem works out the same way. So we have 4/5 and 2/8, and what we need to do is we need to turn both of these into something over 40. Alright, so we need to turn them both into something over 40. That's that least common multiple that we just worked out. So remember what we did. Least meaning smallest, common means what do they share. So they shared a 40, right? And multiples are skip counting. If we would have continued this, there would have been other numbers that they would have shared. So that's why we just stopped though at that first one, because that first one would mean the least. Going back up here, we have 40 and 40. So we need to say, okay, what times 5 equals 40? Because remember, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So we're turning this 5 into a 40. And we say, well, 5 times 8 equals 40. So then, of course, whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do the top. 4 times 8 is 32. And so same thing over here, what times 8 equals 40? Well, that's times 5. So whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do the top. 2 times 5 is 10. So when we answer this question, we're going to add this up. We get 42 40ths. And this is again from our work last week. So we should notice that this is not only is this non-lowest terms, it's also an improper fraction. And it's improper because the numerator is larger than the denominator. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to divide the denominator into the numerator. And it goes in there once. 1 times 40 is 40. We subtract and get 2, right? So this 1 comes down, becomes our whole number. This 2 here, our remainder here, becomes our new numerator, and 40 remains our denominator. Now the only other problem with this, of course, is that this is, again, not in lowest terms, right? And I know that instantly because I'm looking And I'm saying, okay, well, this is even and this is even, so of course it's not going to be in those terms. So I'm going to have to reduce this. So the 1 stays the same. And I'm going to say, what can go into 2 that can also go into 40? Well, 2 can, of course, right? So 2 goes into 2 one time, and 40 divided by 2 is 20. So my answer is 1 and 1/20. So if you got 1 and 1/20 last week, you did this correctly. All right, let's do one more from last week, and that would be 5/12 plus 2/20. So this one's a little bit larger. So again, we do not have common denominators, so I can't proceed until I get that least common multiple. So I'm going to multiply out both my denominators. I'm going to do that skip counting. So 12, 24, 36, 48, right, and 60. I'm going to stop there. 20, 40, and 60. So I see that 60 is what they share. So I'm going to turn both of these into something over 60. And I come back over here. What times 12 equals 60? Well, I did this work here. I could just do, 1, 2, 3, 4. Five. There we go. Sorry, it's a little early in the morning clothing. And then 5 times 5 is 25. And then what times 20 equals 60? Again, I could just count here. There's 3. And 2 times 3 is 6. So, what we have here is going to be an answer of what? 31/60. Can I reduce this? I do not believe so. I believe 31 is a prime number, so the only thing that goes into 31 is 1 and 31. And I know that 31 does not go into 60. So our answer here is 31/60. So what I want you to do is I want you to, let's see here, work out this problem. 5/8 plus 3/6. So what I want you to do is work out that problem and leave a comment after the video telling me what you got when you work this out. So you're going to have to do the least common multiple, and then you're going to have to add this, and maybe, depending on what happens, reduce it. I will see you guys tomorrow when we will start our multiplication and division of fractions.